Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now, Levi? Can you hear me now? Is the sound all good now? All good now? Yeah, good. Yeah, sorry about that. I had some sound issues before. So how you doing, Zombie Boredom? Can you hear me now? All good? Can everyone hear me loud and clear? Can everyone hear me loud and clear in the chat? Please give a yes. And if you can hear me, I'd love to know where you're from and how old, as it helps us to, get into the information and get any of your questions answered. So we got Levi in the chat. We got Zombie Boredom. How you doing, Andy? So we got quite a lot of people dropping in today. Appreciate the love. Thank you for dropping in. Please don't forget to give the stream a like and a subscription if you are into this kind of how you doing, Jim Craven? Thanks for returning. We had some technical difficulties previously, so good to see you back, my friend. So today we're just talking about so how old are we all today? And what location are we coming from today in the chat? So as you can probably tell, I am from London. We are streaming today from London, UK. Please give the stream a like and a subscription. So let's get into it, guys. Let's get into it. I'm assuming most of us today are all young men, so that's great. So we got Serbia. How we doing, Greco Serb? Great to see you in the chat today. Thank you for dropping in. So I'm gonna just assume we are all young men in the chat today. So today we're talking about neediness, just as the title says, and why I feel that neediness is one of the, if not the biggest attraction killer when it comes to dating and meeting women, right? So we got Andy from Sri Lanka. That's amazing. Thank you for dropping in today. Don't forget to give the stream a like and a subscription. So we're talking about why neediness is going to hurt us as young men more than any other thing, in my opinion. Because what neediness does, it shows that you potentially have a scarcity mindset, and it potentially shows that you may not have much going on at the time when it comes to dating or dating situations. And then because of that, a lot of men can tend to become emotionally unglued, right, when they are in the presence of a woman that they find attractive. Maybe you could be a guy that's maybe not had much action in a while, or maybe you've not been on a date in a while, and then what can happen is it causes you to put too much stock and too many eggs into one basket, right? And in turn it can cause a woman to feel a little bit suffocated and repelled, right? Because she's feeling, oh, this guy maybe doesn't get a lot of women, or that kind of thing. So it can in turn cause women to feel that they want to go and date other guys instead, because she's being turned off, right? So sometimes we can get carried away, if we message a woman and she's maybe not messaging us back as quickly, and we're excited, and then we start trying to like blow up her phone, we end up chasing her, right? And I believe I did a stream on this yesterday about chasing women, and why it's not good. So do we have any questions about that, guys, so far? How's everyone's like dating situations going and everything? Are we single? Are we in relationships? What's everyone's situations? Do we have any questions about that yet? Just gonna have a sip of water, as it is still quite hot here in the UK. Do we have any questions about today's topic before we go into it a little bit more? because I think we can all say safely say, right, as men, we've all maybe once or twice or several times shown displays of neediness, right? Um, Even in like a relationship, right? Sometimes we can um, show those, display those, traits of neediness. Um, so we got hardcore motivation in the chat. How we doing today? Look, man, if you want to troll, I can take that, man. I'm here to just build a community. Um, so yep, we are live from the UK. How you doing, chicken dinner sinner? Please give the stream a like and a subscription if you're into this kind of content. How are we doing today? I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you today? So we are talking about why, in my opinion, neediness is, in my opinion, if not the most, the biggest way to push and repel women away. So this little message here from Jim Craven. Appreciate the subscription. So you're in a relationship and you've been with your partner since Christmas. Everything is going well. That's good, man. That's good. That's what I want to hear. That's great to know. That's great to know. So how old is your partner, Jim? Around the same age? You said you're, how old did you say you are? 40, was it 41? 45? I am based in London, my friend. I am based in London. Wow, 4 years, Andy. That's great. And Andy, what would you say has been something that, monumental that you feel has allowed you to have a relationship that long? Is there anything you feel that's been a great thing that you've sort of implemented in your relationship? Are you someone that you say is been leading their relationship and everything? Both of you are 29. Okay, that's good. So Jim, you're saying you're 45 and she's 51. Yeah, good communication, man. Totally agree. That for me is probably number one. I'd probably say when it comes to a relationship, I'd probably say, yeah, communication is definitely number one, right? Because both of you have to have an openness, right, in the relationship. You can't be closed off. You can't you gotta basically say what you're feeling, right? Because no one's a mind reader. But at the same time, obviously, you have to also sometimes put your foot down, right? And when there's disrespect, I think a lot of guys, they say that there's that honeymoon phase, right? And I feel like once that honeymoon phase, maybe after a year or somewhere around then, um, I think men get into a habit of not checking their women, right? And then all this disrespect goes on, and sometimes the man ends up becoming like an emotional doormat. He feels that if he stands up for himself, when it comes to disrespect, sometimes they have this fear of, oh, this, she's gonna leave me, um, if I, put my foot down. So and the reason I mention that because I feel that's important, right, for a long term relationship. But I'd say, just going back to the topic as well, I think we can all put our hands up, right, and say there's times where we've displayed neediness, right, and it's pushed women away, right, because I think sometimes, like I was saying before, especially if you're someone who's single and you've been single for a while, and then you suddenly meet a woman that you are sexually attracted to, what can tend to happen is you end up over pursuing, right? And then in turn, pushing her away, and then the attraction starts to lower. So that's kind of what I want to speak about today as well. Um, is because even in relationships, right? You can tend to make the mistake of getting needy. You're not giving the woman space. You still got to, even if you're living together or something, you still have to have an element of, you know, being able to have your own interests and feeling like one or the other is not being smothered, right? Because and that can sometimes come from one partner um, being bored, and just not having hobbies and activities to do, So then they can end up maybe trying to look for their partner to fill a void, or to fill a hole, which is obviously when things can become quite toxic. So, you know, you know, anyone got any questions or anything like that they want to ask? Appreciate the love and support so far. So yeah, it's very easy to um you know get carried away when you find someone that you're a woman that you're sexually attracted to. um a lot of guys tend to, especially in the early days. Yeah, I'm in a relationship at the moment, almost 3 years now. So especially like when you're in that phase when you're single, when you're just you just started dating someone, and sometimes as young men we can tend to get excited, and then if she's not responding to a text message, for example, in a time frame that we feel is appropriate, then we can start to like double text, right, as they call it, because we have a fear, we suddenly think we're being ghosted or something. And then people can get into a habit of starting to chase, and then that's when women typically tend to back away, because as I'm sure a lot of you guys know in the chat, women hate feeling smothered, right? They hate feeling like you don't have a life yourself, and then you're trying to use her to fill a void, and then that's when the attraction starts to go down. you know and that's partly what today's topic is also about: how to maintain that attraction, with your woman or with someone that you've just started dating, right? You got to learn to, less is more. Less is more. I definitely believe that less is more, especially in those early days. When you're in those early days, when you're um, dating her, and you're seeing if she's gonna be right for you in the end. So yeah, I'm in a relationship, and November will make it 3 years, and yeah, it's been going well. Back to what Andy said about communication, that is definitely key. And another one that I would add on to that is being able to listen. So I think that goes hand in hand with good communication anyway, is the ability to actually listen to what your woman is saying, and not to just like brush over um, her emotions and her feelings. Yeah, appreciate it, Andy. Same to you, dude. you know wouldn't you guys agree? Listening, being able to listen to her, because I think a lot of guys, like, I think that's unfortunately, not something a lot of guys have naturally, right? I think it's something that we have to. It's a skill that needs to be developed and grown. The ability to listen. So Jim Craven says it's hard. We love spending time together, but we still lack our own space at times. But she wants me to move in together. She's definitely my soulmate. We have the same interests. She's turned my life around for the better and made me a better person. Oh wow, that sounds amazing. That sounds amazing. So yeah, it sounds like yeah, I get what you mean. So it's like you have the same interests, and you just feel that connection and that spark is there. I definitely believe that. That's how I feel with my girlfriend as well. I definitely feel like you can find that, um, you know. So that's amazing, and hold on to that, man. If you know, you definitely feel that it's like a soulmate kind of relationship, then enjoy that, and just continue to nurture that, bro. That's good. So how do you feel about moving in together then? Are you gonna go ahead with it? Is it what's gonna happen next then? What are you leaning more towards? And I think even with the neediness situation, I think that one of the ways to avoid this is to just have like, hobbies, things that you're interested in. You really still got to be your own man, right? You still got to have your own opinions. One of the phrases that I've always loved from other dating coaches say and other speakers say is that you should still be doing the same things that you did when you were single, uh, even when you're in a relationship, right? And that's something that's always stuck to me, and I've always really loved that phrase. And the reason I've loved that is because you shouldn't lose your identity when you are in a relationship, right? You shouldn't lose your passions and all the things that you desire in life and all the goals you had. When you're like single and young, you have all these goals and ambitions, right? And it's important that we, as especially it's like talking to men, right? As from man to man, it's important that we don't lose ourselves in a relationship, right? That we still have, if you loved like golf, for example, if you loved going to bowling with the lads or with the guys, if you're someone who likes video games like myself, for example, you don't just stop doing these things, right? You gotta continue doing the things that you love, right? Because I really believe that this even keeps the attraction. It makes you look much more attractive to your woman, right? Because I feel it's a masculine thing to, as a man, to still be going after what you want, right? Even when you're in a relationship, because that's attractive to a woman. That's very attractive to a woman. It shows that you're not weak. It shows that even when you're with a woman that you find beautiful and amazing, that you can still have your own identity, and that's masculine, right? You're not um, melting in front of her just because she's a woman, just because you find her beautiful. You're not over mesmerized by her, right? It's important to still have your own mind and still have your own opinions about things. If there was stuff that you didn't like before, don't be just trying to, agree with her on stuff because you're afraid of losing her, right? You still got to be yourself. You still got to be the man, because in my opinion, that's what attracted her to you in the first place, was the fact that you had all these opinions about things. You had a vision, a focus, you had goals. And I think it's really important to continue pursuing those things even more, even stronger. I would encourage guys to, even more when you're with someone, to continue to pursue your desires and your passions even more so. Yes, being, as Andy says, being your true self is essential. We still gotta, if you're someone who used to like work out, if you like training and things like that, increase your training, increase your training, but you're doing it for you. Anything that, I believe that anything we do should not be for her, it should be for us as men, right? To improve ourselves, because whatever we do for ourselves is going to affect her in a positive way, right? Because our women are learning from us. They're learning different life skills from us. They're looking up to us. They're looking at how we handle situations. They're looking at how we emotionally respond to things. So, showing her that you're still the same charming man that she met when she met you. You're still that guy. You're showing her that you're still that guy. You're showing her that you've not become weaker, right? And I think it's important as men to speak about these things, so that we, we keep our women attracted to us. And it just goes back to the title, right? Because if we can continue to keep these positive traits within us, it will stop us from being needy. We're not going to have all those traits of like being clingy and needy, right? And as I said, I definitely think it's the number one thing to push women away. So does anyone have any questions about that so far? The interaction tonight has been really good. And the reason I say this, right, is because I've just turned 36 now, so I'm 36, and I've had that phase. So a little bit about myself, right, because I know there's a few viewers watching. I have always, since young, had a very, very strong interest in self improvement, self development, um, relationship psychology, anything to do with psychology, self development. I've been really into that stuff since like 16, 17. So I've had a lot of time just studying like different reading a lot of different books, and learning from a lot of like dating coaches and stuff like that. So when I was much younger, there was a lot of like mistakes I was making, with women and dating and things like that. So I was able to learn from those things, and get educated, basically. Because there were times in the past where I was needy, where I was there was times where I was like maybe double texting a woman, because she was taking too long to respond, and I was like, oh my gosh, no, I don't want to lose her, I don't want to. Everything's been going so great, and then as big ups to Coach Corey Wayne, as Coach Corey Wayne would say, you start to become unglued. You start to become emotionally unglued. So I've been there. I've been there. Not so much now. I'm not. I don't do all that now, because you get to a place where you want to stop making all those mistakes. So you try to get educated, and then you get educated, and then you wanna, like myself, wanna help other men to discover their self worth, and that's one of the main reasons why I created this channel, is because I feel like a lot of men really just don't know the value and of who they are, and a lot of men have become out of touch with what it means to have worth, what it means to have self worth, right? And I think in today's society, unfortunately, um, it's the picture has been painted that it's only really females, or it's more feminine to have low self worth, right? When it's definitely the case that a lot of men suffer from self worth, and I think we can all agree that social media is something that has brought this more to everyone's attention, right? Oh yeah, no, I totally agree, Andy. Men today have become way, way, way too soft, man. Way, way, way too soft. So Jim says, I've got goals and I work hard, and she understands that we are both in really good jobs. You're so right in what you're saying. Yep, yep. Um, we learn from our mistakes in life. It makes us a better person and stronger. Yep, yep. Totally agree. We've all been there. Once you mature and have gone through thick and thin, you gain more and more self-respect and understand. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So exactly, and that's been a lot of my experience as well. Is that through experience, when I was doing all these silly mistakes and putting women on a pedestal and things like that, in the past, I realized that the main reason I was doing that was because I lacked self-worth, and that's when I sort of went on this journey of self-improvement, because as a young guy, sort of like in my early 20s, I was wondering why I was not getting as many women as I wanted, right? Because I just wasn't educated, and I just didn't. Sometimes you just don't really know what you're doing. But yeah, as with Andy's comment, I totally think yeah, men are way too soft. And I was even just saying this in one of my other live streams the other day. I totally agree, man. And that's another reason why I've made this channel, is to try to encourage men to learn what it is to actually be masculine, and what it is to, because when you're masculine, you're not going to be soft, right? You're not going to just let people walk all over you. So, when you're, all of that softness, unfortunately, I feel comes from, we've been lied to a lot. Um, you know, many of us grew up on Disney movies, where the man is always like running around for the slim princess, and we've been kind of taught, nothing wrong with Disney, right? Pixar movies are amazing, as I'm sure we can all agree, but it's just the messages in Hollywood movies, in Disney, that women are supposed to be put on a pedestal, that we're supposed to be running circles around them, um, and all this stuff. And I think all of those kind of messages have tainted our self worth, because we're sort of made to feel like women are better than us, that there's something to like strive for, that we're supposed to like be sacrificing ourselves and our sort of our masculinity and our identity to get a woman, right? And which is just not true. So we've been lied to by all these romantic comedies, right, where the guy is like running around trying to do all these grand gestures, and while it's totally okay to love women. I love women as a heterosexual male. I love women, but we shouldn't be putting them on pedestals, right? And all this stuff, because that's just not masculine. Yeah, totally agree, Andy. Or the online culture. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the kids. Yeah, all the young. Yeah, the young men that we have today, unfortunately, they definitely are not men, right? Um, you know, loud, rude to people in public, rude to the elderly, and all this. Oh my gosh, yes, yeah, it's crazy. The young men today really really need like coaching. You know, I think we can all agree. The young men really need to be coached. They have no idea what they're doing with women. um, Men are becoming sort of like more aggressive, especially with women and stuff. I mean, that's always been the case, right? But society, is definitely not going in a great direction right now. Um, there's not many men, actual men left on the earth right now. Yeah, rude, no manners. Yeah, disrespectful. Yeah, it's crazy today. Yeah. So yeah, young men really need coaching and role models, right? And yeah, so I really sort of like enjoy the other YouTube channels as well, who offer coaching to men. Something I might consider doing as well. You know, just to help young men and set them in the right direction. Most men today don't know what they're doing with women, right? Men are very scared these days to like go out and approach women, which I was talking about in yesterday's live stream. If you feel free to check that out as well. Um, yeah, it's kind of crazy. Most men today don't want to, approach women. If they see a woman, they see outside and they're sexually attracted, most men are not just going to go and, approach her. A lot of men these days are unfortunately scared to, do things like that and go after the things they want. I was saying in yesterday's live stream that, especially if you're a single guy, you should be trying to speak to at least like, 15 women a day, right? And I know that might seem a little bit extreme, but yesterday's live stream was, don't only rely on dating apps to meet women, right? And the whole point of my live stream with that topic was to address the fact that um, not enough men are going after what they want, right? And this goes back to the softness, like Andy's comment about the softness of today's men. Most men today will just prefer to hide behind dating apps, you know. And while I think dating apps are a great thing, they were a great invention because it allows you to obviously have a bigger option, a bigger dating pool. But I just feel um, it's very easy for women to hide behind dating apps as well. As we know, women get much more matches than men typically in general. Um, so it's very likely a lot of the time women are not even going to get to your message. People have very busy lives these days, and people forget to open the app, and so it's definitely more effective to go out and especially if you're single, to go out and try to meet women in person. Should be hitting our favorite spots, our favorite locations. For example, if you have a favorite bar, or you've got a bookshop that's one of your favorite spots or something, you want to really be trying to hit those spots to try to meet women that may have things in common with you. So that was yesterday's live stream. Just for anyone who's interested, just the importance of getting yourself out there as a young man, and believing in yourself more and having more confidence, right? And I also gave the example of the fact that when I was younger, it was pretty normal to, go out as groups as young men. We were like maybe 13, 14, right? And we, were in that phase where we, wanted to speak to more women, so it's just everyone grows up differently, right? And I think that's why it's difficult for some young men to just go up to a woman and strike a conversation. Obviously, the way society sees it today doesn't help, because there's a group of people who tend to think it's harassment, right? Just to go up to a woman and try to show your interest, and it's how you do it. No one wants to come across as a creep, and I definitely don't condone that. As soon as a woman says she's not interested, at that point, one should just like walk away, right? But and leave them. But we should definitely be putting ourselves out there more. And like I was saying, there's a group of people who tend to think, shouldn't just go up to a woman in the street or something. But then are people just expecting single people to only use dating apps? I just think that's kind of unrealistic, right? What do you guys think? What do you guys think about dating apps, and um, how that contributes to the dating situation today? You know, so as men, we should be going after what we want, and not being afraid to take the initiative to speak to a lady that we find attractive. This should be normal. It's in our birthright to go after the things we want. Do we have any more questions today about today's topic? Appreciate the interaction from everyone today so far. I mean, that's how I met my current girlfriend today. Um, we met in person. I was confident, and I took the initiative without hesitation to strike up a conversation with her and everything. And it was pretty smooth from there. You know, and the key is, like I was saying before, to continue to stay and be that attractive, charming guy that you was when you first approached her, not to become, needy and over emotional with her. You got to continue to stay grounded and focused with her. So we will just go for about like 5 more minutes. If anyone's got like any last minute questions, we'll just go for about 5 more minutes before we wrap up. Thank you for everyone who dropped in today. Appreciate the support. So just to recap on today's topic, we're talking about how, in my opinion, neediness is the one of the, or if not the biggest attraction killer when it comes to dating and when you're in a relationship as well. And the main reason I feel this is just because neediness implies a lot of things, right? And just to briefly touch on something I did not mention earlier, was the fact that this neediness thing is an emotion, right? You feel, let's be real, so if you're being needy with a woman, like you feel she's not giving you attention back, say you went on a date, you met up a few times, maybe you even had sex and hooked up as well, and you're expecting there to be that attention from her, right? That interest, and you feel maybe she's not showing the same interest. So what some men can tend to do is they become emotionally unglued, and they go into a phase where they start to chase the woman. And this kind of stuff can even go back to childhood, right? Where you feel sort of like, some guys feel abandoned from that process. You can feel unloved, and it's just good to address, take responsibility for ourselves as men, and just make sure we are addressing where all of those deep-seated emotions come from, right? Because when we're secure in ourselves, we're not going to need somebody else to make us feel secure, right? We should only be going into a relationship to give the gift of our time and the gift of our love to that person, right? We should not be overwhelming a woman and making her feel like we're clingy, right? And that we're suffocating her. So, these types of emotions and attributes can come from a lot of different areas from childhood and just from different parts of life, right? You know, and back to another point I mentioned before. This neediness can make you look like you're someone who has a scarcity mindset, like you're someone who doesn't know how to attract women or relationships, right? It can show that maybe there's, a woman can start to think, oh, is there something wrong with him? Why is he trying to like pin me down? Um, excuse me, why is he trying to like pin me down and lock me down when he's just met me, right? Because a lot of women are going to feel creeped out by that because she's a stranger, right? You don't even really know each other yet, and you're already trying to like, you're already over pursuing. And that's generally how women think. They're thinking like that. They're thinking like, me and this dude just met. Why is he like rolling out the red carpet for me? Why is he doing all these things? And even the fact that we feel we have to do all of these physical things to attract a woman is an issue in itself, right? We should be bringing our best self to the table. We should have emotional control. And we should be in a place where we are ready, sort of feel a wholeness within ourselves, so that by the time we are in a relationship with that woman that we want to actually be with, she's not feeling suffocated. She's feeling like I'm with a man who doesn't need me to fill a void, right? Because no one wants to feel like they're being used to feel something within, you know, no one wants to feel like um, you're using them as a way to fill a hole, because then all this expectation and all these uncomfortable emotions is being transferred onto the other person, right? So we got to be in a place where, as men, we are taking responsibility for our emotions and ensuring that any we're not bringing that baggage into a relationship, right? Because all of these little things are going to make a woman lose attraction for you, right? So this is why I think neediness is the number one attraction killer, right? Because you meet someone, everything's going well, uh, and it can seem like her interest is like, say, the interest level is 1 to 10, 10 being very interested, very attracted to you. So say her interest level is at a 10, or like around a 9 or 10, especially around the time you meet, right? um, Everything seems like it's going well, and you end up over pursuing, you're double texting her when she's not responding, and all these things, and all of these things are going to long term um, allow her attraction for you to decrease. So we just want to make sure that we're not going in a relationship to for anyone to fill a void within us, right? Because in the end, that's always, even if it doesn't seem like it, it's always going to make a woman lose attraction for you at some point down the line, right? So, do we have anyone in the building who has just dropped in? Do we have any new listeners in the chat? Would love to hear from you. How old are you? Where's your location? Where are we viewing from today? We are actually just about to wrap up. If you are still around, I appreciate you dropping in. I appreciate your time. You could have been anywhere, but you chose to hang out with me today, so I appreciate that. If you could just please give the stream a like, if you could please subscribe, I promise I will be streaming regularly, most days of the week. At the moment, I'm streaming like 4 to 5 days a week. So if you love this kind of content, please subscribe so that you can catch me going live. We will be talking about self-development, spirituality, building up our self-worth as men, dating, relationships. So we're going to be going through everything, step by step, from the process of dating, for the process of the relationship, and even further. So we're going to be going through all the different processes, building up our charisma. Charisma is a great skill to have, as it helps not only in dating, right? Not only in just dating relationships, but also in the workplace as well, right? We need to be emotionally intelligent and socially switched on, and able to make the, you know, best decisions that are going to benefit us the best, in the best way long term, right? Because as men, we should be thinking about long term uh, long-term issues, how things are going to, how is this decision now that I'm making, how is it going to affect me in 4, 5, 6 years? Can we all agree on that as men? Right, so we are going to be covering all these topics: how to thrive um, in social situations, how to become more socially intelligent, how to win in the workplace, how to win in our dating life, especially, and in relationships. So we are just about to wrap up. So if you have any last minute questions, please drop those in now. Like I said earlier, appreciate the love and support today. The interaction has been great. You could have been anywhere today, but you chose to hang out with me. So I appreciate that. Please give the stream a like and a subscription, and we will be back tomorrow.